Hi, I'm Asia Rose reporting to you live from Watershed Wonders. Today we have a special guest, Olivia Hoy, speaking on Orwell Creek and its surrounding watersheds.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here to talk about my watershed.
We're excited to have you. So what made you want to study this particular watershed?
The main stem of Orwell Creek flows right behind my house, and I just know the area really well, but I was just interested to get a better look at the watershed and if there's any problems with it and if anything needs to be changed within it, things like that.
Would you say there's anything of interest within the watershed?
It's actually a very small watershed. It's only 19.7 square miles. It's in one county, Oswego County, New York, and it goes through 4 small villages and towns, Altmar, Orwell, Albion, and Boylston. Also, the watershed is primarily forest. In this slide, you can see that it's a very forested area, so you can see from the satellite imagery that all the green indicates a lot of forest and agriculture, and there's very little urbanization, which is typical of a watershed in the Tug Hill region.
Where does the watershed drain into?
The Orwell Brook watershed, which is shown in the pink area on this slide, drains into the Salmon River, whose watershed is indicated by the green region. So this is just to show that the size of the actual Orwell Brook watershed is very, very small in comparison to the river it drains into.
And what are the flow rates like in Orwell Brook?
The stream has a pretty low flow. It's a fairly small creek. So its average daily stream flow is around 52 cubic feet per second, which most people wouldn't understand just by reading that number. So in common language, I like to say that that's around 4 bathtubs full of water per second of water that is being moved. I also have a stream flow data hydrograph here from 1912 to 1916, which seems like a long time ago, but it's still very useful data because a lot hasn't changed in the watershed from that time period. So as you can see, the flow rates drop very low in the summer months, like July, August, because it's very dry and there's not a lot of rain, so it's just flowing at its normal low flow rate. And then you can see in the winter months and in like fall, that's when the flow rates spike because you're getting a lot of rainfall or snow melt when it turns to spring.
Are there any important economic activities within the watershed?
Yes. Although the watershed is small and in a fairly rural area, fishing for salmon and steelhead is one of the biggest activities that occurs in the fall and spring seasons. Actually, right along Orwell Brook, there's almost 3 miles of public fishing rights that the DEC has issued. And also, although the streams aren't stocked, which is normally a pretty important thing, they are very important spawning grounds for trout and salmon.
Now, how would you describe the overall watershed quality?
According to a lot of the data I've collected, the overall watershed quality is good. There's not a lot of problems with it. These are some values that were collected in 2008. Phosphorus and nitrogen, which are 2 limiting nutrients in freshwater systems, the values collected were very, very low, which shows that that's a good thing because you don't want excess nutrients in the water. And I also just pulled that the pH was 7.9, which is a good level because it's close to neutral, which is what you want. You don't want something too basic or too acidic for the aquatic environment. And for 2014, the water quality assessment showed that all uses of the stream was good and the watershed was good, so there shouldn't really be anything done to the stream. It has fairly good ratings across the board.
Thank you for coming out here tonight, Olivia. It was nice to learn more about the Orwell Creek